Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Farah Guerrero. A little bit about me. I'm from Guanajuato, Mexico, and I'm living here in the United States for almost 6 years or 7 years. And my major is business in management from the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. I graduated from this university last year, and I got my associate's degree in 2013 from the South Texas College, also in business administration. And right now, I I was accepted in the master's degree from the University of Texas at Tyler. And my new degree is going to be industrial management. So I'm starting this fall, and this is what I'm doing right now, trying to reach a new degree. And I think it's, thank you so much. And I'm very excited to start this new degree. Hopefully, maybe in 2 or 3 years more, I can get this new achievement. And when I came from Mexico, I started right away my college, but at that time I was very confused because for me it was after 12 years of not attending school, I started college, but without any English language. So for me it was so difficult, but at the same time it was a huge opportunity to start learning more. And I started without no English, and now I guess I speak more. So I think it's pretty much about me. All the time I went to school for public schools in Mexico. So it was not a great education, but at least I got it was my high school over there in Mexico. And after that, when I came here, I started my GED again because it was a requirement to start college. So I go for my GED, and I did it in 2012, I guess. And after that, I started the South Texas College, that it was a community college here in the valley where I live right now, here in McAllen. And at that time, we used to live in Rio Grande City when I started the program. And as I think that's it. Okay. Next.
Hi everybody, my name is Navid and also like my friend, I already got my bachelor degree in interdisciplinary studies in Institute 6 bilingual education and in Texas A&M Kingsville, and I graduated this past year in December 2017. And now I work as a substitute teacher, and also I already applied for a job here in the district. And what else? And something about me is I'm from Miguel Alemán, Tamaulipas. My first language for sure is Spanish. As you can hear us, maybe we can have a little bit of accent or maybe some pronunciation problems, but this is something that we have to face every day and try to achieve until we get a perfection, right? But as you see, this was not an impediment to complete our goals. We start South Texas College in Rio Grande Valley in 2013. Yeah, 2013. Yes, with the program, and we start just like maybe think what's going on. Let me try it. But we never imagined that we can complete or achieve our goals. But here we go. We are here now and ready to continue, and also to motivate others to continue with your dreams and until you achieve your goals?
Well, for me, actually, right now I'm working for a manufacturing company. Um, that's what I'm doing right now. When I almost graduated from my bachelor, I applied for an internship on my school, and they connect me with this company, and I tried to apply, and they hired me 2 years ago because I started as an intern. And I think 9 months ago, after my graduation, they decided to hire me for a new position in human resources. And right now I'm getting more involved in this um, profession. And I try to reach a certificate this year in order to accomplish this career also in a professional manner. So it's what I'm doing right now. That's why I decided to go into the industrial management degree for my master's. And this is what I'm doing right now. I work for a manufacturing company called Woodcrafters that is uh, tied to a corporation called Master Brand.
How did we learn about the program? Okay, for me, I can say that I learned about the program was because, I'm sorry, was Dr. Sandra Ledesma. She was a teacher in that time in South Texas College. And also she gave me a class about introduction of teaching. She was an excellent mentor for me at the beginning because she was the person that introduced me about the program. And the way that I learned about it was because when I go to South Texas College to be accepted, as you know, we have to pass the TSI test that was about math and also reading and writing. So I passed the math section, but I didn't pass the reading and writing section. So that's when we start looking about options of how can we enter college and try to achieve or succeed about that. What it says, like an impediment to start my career. So Dr. Sandra Ledesma, she talked to me and also motivated me to continue my education and never give up. And she said, this is just one door that closed, but look, this is one other door that can open for you. This is an excellent program that help you to succeed and also in your reading and writing skills. So for me, it was an excellent option because that subject or reading and writing was together, but also count as a credit for our career. And also, like you see, our time like is valued. So for me, it was excellent, and is the way that I learned about the program.
Well, for me, it was a little bit different because I started on the community college, and they told me that I need to pass the test AccuPlacer at that time. So I went to the AccuPlacer and only passed math at that time. So because for me it was 12 years that I'm not attending any school. So and even harder because this one it was in English. So like I said, it was not too much language for me. So I only passed math, and then they told me that I need to take the remedium classes. So I started from the bottom, and I started attending just one because I never received any financial aid. So for me, it was even harder. And I just saved money for my first class, and at that time was reading. And I started 2013, I guess. Yes, it was reading. First, it was reading. And then over there, I met Miss Alanis, and she was implementing this course for remedium classes. So when the course started, like in the semester, she never knew that I was just for that class and only for without no English. So even though she speaks Spanish, so I try to learn more about the education over there here in the United States, or about the system, because I was very, very confused about the system. And she told me that she was in a program called, at that time, Puente, that today is Catch, Ascender. And that time he was called Puente. And she told me, like, if I go into the Puente program, I can reach 2 remedial classes and to get the position in order to get 4 credit classes. So I was understanding that at the beginning because I was just in one class. So she motivated me to go into the Puente and start moving forward with other classes. Because for me at that time, it was just, let me try one class because I don't have no money. And also I just want to feel how it feels to go to college here in my life, right? So, but I knew that it was harder because it was a different country, different system, and different language. So that's why I just want to try this time. But I was very like not too much excited about it. But after the program, she introduced me to that program to the next semester. So I passed that class. I don't know how to do it, but I passed that one, the reading part. And I tried the program, and that's why I enlist myself in another 3 more classes that it was in the program, and another, I think it was history. I mean, no, it was just history. No, I can't remember. I think it was another class. I think it was history. So, that's why I met Alanis, and that's why I can start with the program. Yeah, I think it was
we had the own course with Miss Alumni.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was 2 or 3 classes that I started. But that is the way that I met Alanis and I met the program.
When we start college and when we learn about the program, we didn't know too much about the language. This is the first thing that we have to face up because language is very important. So now we can say that we can feel also like a better understanding. Now we can read and write better, and as you can see, we can talk as not like the perfect English, right? But at least we try our best. And when us like the first day when we start college, we say, let's try it. Let's see what's happened. Let's see what's going on. Let's see if we can face off this impediment, like the language. But for us was very hard to learn it, but at the same time we can feel the satisfaction and also very proud of ourselves to succeed and be in the position that we are now. For me personal, I didn't know how to write and I didn't know how to read correctly in English because all my education was in Mexico too. I never studied here in the United States until I get involved in college. So for me, it was very hard. I had to start learning first, like the ABC, the numbers, the phonetical things about an education. So when we start college, my reading was like, I don't want to read. I just to think like I had to read in front everybody in the class put me like nervous and I was scared. I was because I remember that. Do you remember like the first time at class with Miss Alanis that she said, "Okay, we will start reading like an in table, like a round table, and everybody has to read a piece of the document." So we were like, oh my gosh, please don't tell me that term, please. I don't want to read because I feel embarrassing and I feel like, oh my gosh, everybody will start laughing at me because I don't know how to read correctly. And I also think like everybody will knows that I don't know the language, right? So when that time goes and was the time to read, so I start reading, and like my friend says, Miss Alanis never know that we don't know the language, right? But I start like reading words, but like I think in my mind like what I supposed to read, what I read, like just read for read, but in reality I don't know what I read because I was nervous and thinking about my friends, like what they will say. But then after the program, I can say, and also a skill that I adopt in that program was that every time that I read a word that I didn't know or I didn't recognize, I always write it down. And then when I go home, I start looking in the dictionary for the definition of the word and also for the correct pronunciation, because it was like very hard to me, but it was a way to learn better about in reading skills. And also writing, uh, it was hard for us to start writing. And I remember the part that you have to write an essay. That word was like the most most horrible thing for us at the beginning. In reality, like I can confess, like oh my gosh, when I hear that the word essay was like, oh my god, what can I do? Why, how can I start writing? Because I don't know how to do it. But in the program, we learn a lot of good skills of how to start thinking about, like first, like everybody knows about the brainstorm. Like think first, what do you want to write, right? So then I start writing like the main ideas, then I start developing and more what is a narrative way to expand our vocabulary and also our writing. So we start doing it, and Miss Alanis, I can say, and also like now Dr. Ramirez, they were excellent teacher for us that helped a lot with reading and writing skills. That now we can say I can write also like in a what is it? Was it the lot of papers? Oh, like remember the thing? Like 15, 20 pages? A research paper. A research paper. Now we can write a research paper, and in a professional way too.
Yes.
So now it's the turn for my
for
friend.
me, for me, it was like it was different also, but I really love to read books all the time. So that way helps me a lot to improve my reading skills. But even though it was harder because in English it's totally different story, because I really enjoy when I read my books, but I understand what I'm reading. But in English it was a different story because I was reading and at the same time I need to translate and then understand. So it took me more time, but I've never give up because I really want to understand books because Miss Alanis give us good stories. So I really like to read, and I was like, I really want to understand what's said. But at the beginning, for me, it was harder. Even today, it was harder to write. The writing part for me, I think it was the most difficult because I uh, never go for the first steps. Like it's just like this is the language and here you go, but never go with different like procedures or the grammar or the points or everything. So now I'm trying to learn more about that. So yeah, one of the books that they gave me, it was the first book that I read in English. It was called a child called It. I remember that. And after the program, during the program, I learned more from different books that I was really, really interested for me. Those books were like magic for me because were like stories from Latinos that started learning in the same way and learning and go to to reach an education here in the United States. One of the books that I try to learn and read, and then I share that book with Miss Alanis in order that she can use that one in the program. So it's like this story about the Dr. Q. Also another story from another lady called My American Dream, something like that. And the other one is for the first person that was in the, what is called, I think it's Jose Hernandez, is called. That is a guy that go to space, I think, that is Mexican American. So those books helped me a lot. But also in the reading part in the program, they help me to understand that even though that I'm not very good, writing, they teach me the right way to write an essay, the steps to the main point, the beginning of the essay, that is called the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. So that's why I start learning the different parts that I need to use in each section of the essay.
And also different kinds of essays.
Yeah,
Remember?
and also that it exists different kinds of essays, so I can understand, and I try to understand my ideas in order to put it in the paper. It was harder for me, even though today I'm still learning the language in order to improve my grammar. And also, like at the beginning, it was like just short essays. I think it was harder to write just half of the page, and it was like I don't think that I can accomplish just one page of an essay. But at the end, in the bachelor, you need to accomplish 16, 17, 18 pages, and you can do it. And it's really a satisfaction to finish this kind of essays, 17, 18, 20 pages, and you can read it. And I'm like, I really honestly, I did this. So it's a huge accomplishment because for me, the program was the base to understand the finish of my career and how they build each piece in my mind in order to understand the reading, the writing part, because only for reading is not just reading. It's just to find out the main idea, the different points about the section that you are reading. And even though that you can see that it's kind of the same thing, it's not. It's another main idea that it's talking about. So I understand better with the program, and they teach me how to do it and step by step, never rushing or never so quickly. They take me, they give me my time, and that's why I think they can understand better my situation. Well, we went to different schools, universities. Okay, so we went to different schools. So for me, it was transferring from STC to the UT RGB now. It used to be Pan Am before, but they never guide me or anything. They just told me on STC, they guide me. They told me you need to take the classes for the associates. But I was a little confused because I think, okay, I have the associates and then I need to transfer. But if I, it's like a confusing thing because when you have the associates, you need to complete the associates if you want that degree. But I didn't know that I need to maybe, if I want to transfer to bachelor, maybe one of these classes is not going to transfer in this one. So I started learning from the bottom, asking so many questions on my new university about the transferring thing. But they just gave me a new just the, how do they call it, the classes, all the degree classes, and they told me just you need to take first this, and this in order to, because these three are requirements. So that's why it was like I applied to this one, and because for my GPA they already accept me right away, and then I can start from the requirements. that they transfer all. I think it was for me. They transferred the complete classes. I guess it was just because the UTRGV and the South Texas College, I think they have some agreements or something like that, that you can connect so many classes with the other school facility. So for me, it was good because I think most of my classes they transferred to my bachelor. So I just started from the requirements, and that's it. It was pretty easy. I never took at the beginning of my associates. I was for I mean it was social work, but I after I started learning more in school, I I decided to change to business because it's a thing that I really wanted, but I was not at that time to do it because I believe that I was not able to do it. But the program helped me to improve my self-esteem also. That's why it helps me to change my career and move forward with a real career that I really wanted. So that's why it helps me my self-esteem, and I feel that I can do it, and that's why I moved to business. But I only took two classes for that one that I not transferred to UTRGV because we're not in the business degree. So, but for me, it was pretty easy.
Well, in my case, for me was a very good um, idea, and also helped me a lot, Dr. Alanis, because in my case, she always asked me like, what would you like to do? Like, what career do you like it? And I always thinking like, I'm not sure, Miss. I don't know what to do. I just come into college and I just want to study. But she always asks me that question for that because she wants to keep me in track and always do take the classes or courses that continue with that continue my career in a 4-year college, of course. She always liked to motivate us to continue our education because at that time for me I was like, no, my goal is only take the associate.
Yes.
This is our first goal, like a short-term goal was the associate for sure. And then like I was like, I don't know if I can continue college, like a 4-year college, right? But she always keep me on track and also, like I say, motivate me to continue. And thanks to her, all my courses was were on track, and also all of the courses were transferred to my university, to Texas A&M Kingsville. So that way I can't lose my time and also my money, because like my friend says, we didn't get financial aid, so we had to pay for our courses. And for, like I said, so during the program was a satisfaction, and for us to be there because they help a lot us to be in track. So
Yeah.
it's what we can say.
And the program always guide us all the time because it was the confidence
Yes.
between your mentor, your teacher, and us.
Student.
Because Miss Alanis, she is really good, and she always guide us because she has his doctorate degree. So for us, it was guide because she already passed through the whole process. So for us, it was difficult because for me, it was, and also for Navid, we are like first generation to graduate from university. And imagine that, and also imagine in a different country. So that's why for us, the major help was one, Miss Alanis, and in the program because they guide us in order to understand the educational program here in the United States in order to transfer those credits to the other university tied to your degree. So the program guide us all the time, and Miss Alanis, they give us advices, and they gave us all the time like how to go to that path in order to achieve the next goal.
I want to add that also I remember that I want to go. For me, it was like I was very close mind that I want to go to UTRGV, right? because it was the closest university for me because I was living in Roma, Texas in that time. But I remember that I said that I talked to Dr. Alanis and I said to her, Miss, I don't know what to do because some of the courses that I'm taking now didn't transfer to that university, so that will take me more time to get there, and also a lot of testings and a lot of things that put me like a little sad, and in that time like, I feel unmotivated. But she was like an excellent mentor for us, and also for me. She talked to me and said, why you didn't take in another option like Texas A&M Kingsville? So in that time, I feel like, means, how can I think to go to college like far, yeah, far away? But she started talking me about a program that I take about the educational program. So she was for me like my door, like my open door and my path to follow, because she always talked to us and also motivate us to continue. Like, if you didn't find one way, okay, try another way, or try another way, and try a different one, but you never give up.
Yes.
Yeah. And we can continue talking about her a lot. We can continue talking a lot of things about her because she's awesome with us, and we can say that we create a good relationship between like a student teacher. So, and until now we continue talking, and um, she continue talking to us and also asking us like, what are you doing, how are you doing?
Yeah,
like,
she's
yeah,
always
she
like,
always like our mom.
what is the next step? What is the next step?
She never leave us alone. So that's a good thing about Dr. Alanis, like our super mentor that never leave us alone. El no tener confianza en uno mismo,
Sí.
el no creer en uno mismo, fue algo que tuvimos que dejar.
Yes. Well, for me, one of the major things, it was my self-esteem, because I always want to get a career. I really want to get a degree, but it was like during whole my life, I had a lot of hard times. My father passed away from cancer when I was 17, and then if I need to go to work all the time, and then school it was just part time, because or I need to survive, no? So it was really hard, and I think that self-esteem start lowest even more, even more, even more. So the program helps me a lot to leave all that self-esteem or underestimate me, and always improve me in the way that you can do it. You can do it, even though that it was like a huge goal, because at that time they always improve my self-esteem every day with the program. It was a new point in my self-esteem, and I think that one was the most important thing to succeed today on my career, because today on my job I need to have a huge self-esteem, because I work with a lot of people at the same time, different positions, even though with the president of the company, or managers, or lower positions. So you need to be with a high self-esteem in order to understand uh, and speak right away with the self-esteem that you needed to deal with these um, positions. So that's why I think the program was the most important thing for me to succeed today, because they helped me to go and improve my self-esteem in the whole aspects of my life: reading, writing, speak with the people, understand my goals, that just I'm not like a smart people. Um, they work with me and all the aspects of my life, and all together move me forward to achieve different goals. And today, thinking about the masters, it was, I'm afraid, I'm still afraid, but I understand that the path, I already knew the path. So I'm more prepared thanks to this program. And I think that I go back to my first days and no language, and now I'm like, oh, I'm much, much better. And I always think about my first days on the program. That's why today improved me to go forward with this new degree.
Okay, in my case, I can say that in a specific thing that I take away from my experience was that I start thinking and acting like a victim, because I always say like, oh, I can't do it because of the language. Oh, I can't do it because this is not my country. Oh, I can't do it because a lot of students are like more young than me, or I can't do it because I don't have the money. So I stop thinking like that and say, okay, stop. You are not a victim. So you can be like the superhero. Why, if I can say, okay, let's try it. Let's do it. Okay, if I can do it today, maybe tomorrow. So in that way, for me was one of the things that I have to remove for myself, that I can say that was like that affect me, my self-esteem at the beginning. But as the program was continuing and progress, I can say like half of the way in the for the program, my self-esteem was going up, and I can feel like and trust in myself that I can do it whatever I want. That I just need to continue and never give up. And also that I learned that sometimes we have to make a lot of sacrifices, for sure. But that's sacrifices at the end, like
They are worth it.
they are worth it, yes. Because the satisfaction that we had, that okay, we do it, we did it, right? So I'm like, okay, now I can feel my self-esteem like is for the sky from now. And also it doesn't matter, or I don't put too much attention to other people that about what they think about me, because that is another thing that I always put me down, like, yeah, thinking in other people that always try to put me down, and also try to pass me and make me feel like, okay, hello, you are, this is not your country, or this is not your language, so what are you doing here? But now my self-esteem, like I said, is much better, and I can now see to that people, to the eyes, and in front, or try to have a conversation with them and say, okay, hello, I'm here, and look where I'm now, and look where or what I'm done.
And I think for us, education was the most powerful weapon for us, even though in this country, because it's the way that we can fight against those comments, and we can fight against any comments that they gave us, or any um,
Discriminating.
discrimination. So for us, education, it was the most powerful thing to fight against those things. And I think for us is, if we receive any comments, for us it's like, even though it's not affect us anymore, because our education gives us the facility to understand that we are in a different step now, and a different perspective now.
Yeah.
And now we are helping the country with our careers, and we never receive financial aids. We never receive anything. So that's why we are very proud to say that you can do it. And we are very proud to say that even though that you have a lot of difficulties or statistics against you, we are here, and we can get an education, and we can get the possibility to be professionals and share this with others.
I'm just thanking our guests for today. This has been amazing.
Thank you guys, because you are letting us to share our stories, and hopefully this can help you more to achieve your goals and to help others, because this is our major goal now. Also help you to understand that if we can do it, you can do it also, because our difficulties were more huge maybe, uh, and that's why we really would like to share this with you. And always we are here to share our stories and to give you advices, also to the teachers as a mentors. We are very glad to have you guys in our lives and have these kind of programs in our lives, in our own perspective.
Thank you very much for your time and for the invitation for share our stories. And I just want to add to one quote that I always use because I love it and I created during the program, and that you had to sacrifice the person you are now for the person that you want to become. So thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.